Okay, so what we're gonna do is just come up with rules that throw a wrench in the entire system.
We want to troll. Yeah.
These
Are
are top
rules.
5 troll rules.
Yeah, because it's more fun to do this than it is to try to fix everything. Because as you said, it's all already been fixed, and
Yeah.
the rest of sports media is there to fix everything. So we're gonna troll. We're gonna ruin everything. My caveat is that I feel like you can do whatever you want with your list. That's the fun of the
Yep.
show.
Yep.
My caveat was I wanted mine to at least be semi plausible. I wanted to like actually think that there's a world where these rules might actually exist. So I didn't say like an example for me would be like no offsides in soccer. That would make everyone lose their mind. But like that would never ever happen. You know what I mean? So I try
Mine
to
are
make mine.
also some of them sound outrageous, but then when you think about adding things like a 6th foul, you're like, "Oh, actually that's not." Like
Yeah,
I
then it's
didn't have
not
I
that.
didn't have any ones where I took away rules or like fundamentally changed. It's like all sort of extra weird stuff that I
Okay,
was thinking.
well, I think you have to be able to explain why would they would come up with this rule. It's not
Yes.
just like, yeah, we're not just trying to burn the whole
Exactly.
system
There's a
down.
reason
Yeah,
for the rule, and I'm
yeah.
very excited
And
about it.
so I some of mine I think like might actually happen.
I mean, one of mine I would die on this hill. One of mine I actually
Okay.
think should be the way that it goes.
All right, so these are our troll rule changes that are just going to piss everybody off and shake
Yeah.
up the system, a la the play-in tournament. Although I don't think everybody hates it. I think a lot of people like it, but
Well,
something
a
like
lot of
that. What
people
is
could
it?
like these. We don't know,
What?
but
Yeah.
they're things people would talk about.
What is a tweak that we anticipate everyone would hate and is plausible? So
Yes.
Charlotte, you go first. You're number
Okay.
5, please.
My number 5 is if you foul out in the NBA, you have a chance to get back into the game if you win a game of knockout. They stop the game. You play a 5-person game of knockout, and you can get back in. You play the other team in a game of knockout, and if you win knockout, you can come back into the game.
It's like backboard dodgeball in PE. Whenever you hit the backboard,
Exactly.
the guy that's been knocked out gets back in.
Yeah.
Did you play that? Did that make its way to
Oh
where
yeah,
the Northeast?
Oh yeah, the backboard. It was like if you hit the wall,
Yeah.
the person who got out comes back in.
He comes back in. Yeah. Okay. I was
Yeah.
just making sure that wasn't like a I don't
A
know,
weird
a
Indiana
weird
thing.
Indiana thing. Yeah.
It probably is, but somehow I knew it.
The thing about your idea is that piggybacking off of the play-in tournament idea, I think we have reached a point where every idea, the NBA is the one league, the one major league in this country
Yes.
where every idea is plausible. Every
Yes,
single
Mark.
one.
Because
Every
in this
single one.
case, say LeBron fouls out, they
Yeah.
want him back in the game.
Of course they do.
They would do something this desperate to get their ratings up to get LeBron or Steph Curry back in the game if they foul out.
Yes, it is.
And that's why I think it's actually plausible. Like I wouldn't if they did this, I'd be like, this is so dumb, but also like I get why they did it.
Sounds stupid. You know what else sounds stupid is in the middle of a pandemic, let's fly everyone to Disney World and put them in a bubble just to play out a tournament.
Yes.
Also sounds stupid.
Disney
and they did that.
World.
When they pitched the bubble, I mean, I have receipts of this. Like every tweet I had about this was like, I love the ambition, but this is preposterous. Like how there's no way they can pull this off. There's no way they're gonna keep these guys inside the bubble and not get them. And they did it. I'll be damned. They did it somehow.
They did it and then went right back to everybody getting COVID.
Right back to
they
not
did
getting.
it like for a little bit.
The same with like the lottery, even like when the lottery started, that's an absurd. If the draft lottery didn't exist and you pitched the draft lottery, you'd be like, this is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. You're going to draw
I've
ping
told
pong
you this
balls
before, right? That
what?
like when I first found out how that the draft lottery was a thing, I freaked out. I started laughing so hard, and I was working at SB Nation at the time, and I hadn't come up in NBA circles, so I didn't really know what I was talking about. I still don't, but like whatever. And I was like, wait, so you're telling me that they use ping pong balls to choose who gets to choose when?
Yes.
And everyone in the office was like, yeah, actually that's exactly. And I was like, you realize that this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And they were like, you should write that. They were like, would you write that column? And I did. And it was like, it did numbers because everyone else was like, oh yeah, that is really weird.
Yeah, that is stupid. I never.
That's why I think knockout's plausible.
Yeah, but I was backing up your point that just basically
Thank
the NBA throughout history has done off the wall things, and knockout is more plausible than you think. People, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to start the list.
Thanks.
Number 5, I think this isn't that extreme of an idea, but I'll just say it. My number 5 is AL pitchers have to hit. I think it goes the other way. Last year we got the universal DH in baseball, and there was talk about maybe that being a permanent thing moving forward, is that the National League adopts a DH. But I envision a world where the new commissioner doesn't hate baseball, is not Rob Manfred, who hates baseball, is a guy like me who grew up watching National League Baseball and
Yep.
loves the purity of
Oh,
9 guys versus
Jeremy.
9 guys.
Yep.
And if you play the field, you have to hit and do both. Everyone has to do both. And he steps in and he's like, you know what? We're going back. Like this is too much. We've had this era of putting runners on second base to start extra innings. We've played 7-inning things. We're juicing the balls. We're unjuicing the balls. We're juicing the players. We're unjuicing the play.
Yeah,
like
right.
It's too much. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to the basics, and we're gonna play the game as Abner Doubleday intended. And
did you have to look that up?
That he invented the game? No, I knew that. That's a piece of trivia.
I mean, same, obviously. Everybody knows that.
We're gonna play some good old fashioned baseball, and American League pitchers you now have to hit. And I think everyone will lose their mind. American League fans would obviously lose their minds because they love the DH because they're simple minded and they don't understand, double switches and sacrifice bunts. Number two, I think National League fans like myself would hate it because I wouldn't have superiority over you where I could say things like that. Because like we would both have to, you see what I mean? So like I think it'd piss off everybody.
I have nothing to say except that that's brilliant. I would love this. That's a troll rule that I would fully endorse as a American League idiot who wanted to be a DH when she grew up. So I'm here for it. All right, Mark. My fourth rule is women's tennis goes to best of 5 sets instead of best of 3 for Grand Slams.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I want this is because I have absolutely no idea what the reaction would be. I don't know whether this would be seen as feminist or misogynist. And like, I can't wait to see what women tell me I'm a horrible woman for even joking about this, because I just don't know. Is it like, to me, this is a complete wild card, unreadable situation that would be truly an agent of chaos move.
That's a good point. Yeah, because both, I think you'd be told both things, and that's as you said, like maximum chaos is like not having. Yeah, it's a good point. It's like not necessarily a decision that everybody hates. It's a decision that gets people. You don't want 100% of the people on one side. You want 50 on either side, and then let them duke it out. Yeah.
And I don't even have an opinion about this, which is why I think it's so funny. Like,
that's
I don't know.
The best part is you just like light the fuse and then step back. And
exactly. You toss the Molotov cocktail onto the boat. Boat? Not sure why. Very specific scenario in my head.
You're that girl, the picture of the fire going on and the girl smiling, turned at her, looking and got that sly smile. That's you. Yeah. You're like 5 games.
5 games.
When really, I think the reaction is like, all right, cool, I guess.
Yeah, people will be like weird or cool, but
whatever. Yeah, I guess like the games are going to be a little longer now, or the matches will be longer now. But I guess that's
I just assume that everything will make everybody mad. So
no, yeah, that is a good point. I don't know how people would take that. That's a good one. My number 4 is back to the NBA.
Yes,
this is my big NBA idea that again might sound crazy, but it's the NBA we're talking about, so it's probably not that crazy. It's more plausible than you might think. Relegation in the NBA, and not just relegation. I see it like this because the NBA, like one of the things the NBA is trying to combat, obviously, is tanking. Like this is the lottery was put in place for this. They hate it. They hate the idea of tanking, but you can't like get around it, and there's not because you don't want to. I don't know. You want to make your horrible teams better. Like you don't want them to just be stuck as dormant team for forever. Right. But also you don't want to reward teams that are just going to purposely lose games. So it's like, what do we do? How do we do this? I have the solution, Charlotte. Mm-hmm. It is that every year one team gets sent to the G League and we bring one team up from the G League. And how do we decide that one team? It is not the worst team necessarily. It is not the worst team necessarily. What it is we do the NBA lottery as is. Everything is the exact same as it is right now and in the NBA. But when the night of the lottery, whoever wins, quote unquote, that's the team that's relegated.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the team that gets the second pick in the normal system of the lottery, you get the first pick. So now teams are going to like tank, but you don't want to take, and because like the lottery, as the lottery works right now, it's still like the odds are loaded where like if you're the worst team, you have the better chance of getting the number 1 pick. So you still do that. How many teams
are in all of like 9 of them? Is it the bottom 9? No,
it's more than that. It's like 15 or something.
The bottom 15?
Yeah, it's like 14, something like that.
Oh, this is a true agent of chaos.
No, it'd be 14 because there's 30 teams and 16 make the playoffs, so it'd be 14.
Okay, yeah. 9. Where did I get 9 from? It's
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
not,
here's a number.
I should just like
Charlotte explained things. So 9
I should have
teams
just
are
said, yeah, actually, you're right. You're exactly right. It's 9. It is 9.5 teams. I don't know how they
Christ. Oh my
um
God.
so you still have the odds weighted though. Like if you're the worst team, you have the greatest odds of getting the quote unquote number 1 pick. Um it all goes exactly, but like imagine the lottery night. Imagine how glued in you're going to be on lottery night. You're going through the teams, and then there's like 2 teams left, and then we're like, all right, and like Rachel Nichols is like, we're going to go to commercial, and when we come back, we'll find out who gets the number 1 pick and who has to play in Bakersfield right
That's
after this.
absolutely brilliant, Mark. Oh my
It's
God.
awesome.
I mean, imagine if like the Wizards got.
Yeah, they almost made the playoffs. They lose this game, whatever.
Lose this. Yeah, say they lose Wednesday night, and
And then
then
the ping pong balls bounce their way, and now you're relegated.
and now they're
And you're
relegated.
out.
Also, it would make people watch a G League.
You're right.
TV
You're right.
contracts for that could become somewhat more lucrative,
But
at least in certain markets.
And also, as teams are tanking, you want to tank because, like, the more you tank, the better your chances of getting the number 1 pick are.
But
also, you might overdo it.
I love this so much. I love this so much. These rules are like, I would actually like, these are hilarious. The way they're already going like halfway to ridiculous. So why not just go like full
just
ridiculous?
Go all the way.
I love
just
it.
go all in. So that's my number 4. I do.
Okay, well, in that vein, this is a college basketball rule change.
I hate it.
You're gonna love it.
I'm mad already.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. If any one team is winning by more than 40 points in a college basketball team, the winning team's players may only shoot with their non-dominant hand. This is, first of all, nearly impossible to enforce. Second of all, if you dip down to say you're only winning by 38 at this point, you can go back to shooting with your dominant hand.
Back to
but once you're over 40, it's like a fake mercy rule.
Just having a mercy rule would be funny. That would be
mercy rule in general would be it's like if you're winning by 40, you call the game.
Yeah. You just there's like 12 minutes left and you hit a shot and then everyone just walks off the floor.
I mean, honestly, like
there's a guy that going on a beer run that's coming back from the bathroom and he's like, what the hell? It's over? I missed that? What? I thought there was like 15 minutes
Exactly. Left. But listen, it would mean that like fewer kids would get hurt in pointless games.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not making money off their NFTs yet, they can protect themselves.
You could also, if you're shooting with the non-dominant hand, it's a way to practice.
Exactly.
You're accidentally making good teams better, Charlotte.
Everybody gets something out of it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, like coaches are recruiting ambidextrous guys because they're trying to run the score up. They're like, we want to win by 70 so we can get a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Exactly.
So, I like
it. You get it. All right. Anyway.
Number 3 for me. This one might be number 1 in terms of like anger, in terms of like I think this one would burn this country to the ground. And I also think this is very, very, very plausible. This is the most plausible of all the ones I have on my list.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
And it is this: no NFL regular season overtime at all. If the clock hits 0 and it's tied, it's a tie.
I made myself choke. Oh, that's
that the NFL says this is why it's plausible to me. Roger Goodell comes out. Well, it's not Roger Goodell. It's what the NFL. It's the Shield. It's like we know the Shield. It's not. It's a shadowy entity that just kind of like, makes the decisions. And they say this. They say, we have crunched the numbers. We have looked at the data, and overtime is still far too luck based. It's still too much of like a coin flip. It is not a fair assessment of who the better team is. We have tried tweaking the rules through the years. We've tried everything.
Mm-hmm.
It still ultimately comes down to like whoever gets the ball first, or just kind of too much. There's too much luck involved. And on top of that, we have throughout the regular season, we have too many of these games that are kicking off at 1 Eastern, and we're trying to get to the next game, and it's going into overtime, and Jacksonville and Houston are in overtime. And it's like, we're trying to get to the
and red zone is just absolute chaos.
So what we're going to do is it's just going to be a level field, and we're not going to do overtime at all. And if it's tied at the end, it's tied, and that's it. And it's done. And no regular season overtime. We're going to save it for the playoffs, and that'll make it more special too. It's like when you see overtime, it'll mean something because that means it's a playoff game. And that's what we're going to do. And I think every single NFL fan would lose their absolute mind.
Yep. I think that is the most plausible and the most aggravating.
Yeah. So
I
that's
also
it.
love it. I think we should have more ties in general. I think ties are hilarious. Whenever I see a 1 tacked on to the end of an NFL record, I'm like, good for the Browns.
How funny would that be if that was like Urban Meyer could win me over as an NFL coach if like he says like one of his goals this year is to break the NFL record for ties. He's like, we are trying. How many games they play? 17. He's like, we're trying to go 9 and 4 and 4.
Yes.
Like that's our goal this year.
And why do you think we signed Tim Tebow?
Yeah,
He's a known tie man.
he's the
Oh,
tie
that's
man.
so good. That's so good. My number 2 is also an NFL rule, and this is actually the one that I like the most. Like that, I want this to happen. I want to see this implemented, and it's similar to your lottery pick. It sort of messes with tanking a little bit because I think the 4 worst teams in the NFL have their own mini playoff tournament for the number 1, 2, 3, and 4th pick in the draft.
Ooh,
Hear me out.
I like that.
So you have the 1 and the 4 seed, or I guess the 26th and 32nd seed play each other. And then the 2 and the 3 seed play each other. And then the 2 winners play each other. And that determines the 1 and 2 seed. And then the 2 losers play each other to determine the 3 and 4 seed. So the 1 pick, the 2 pick, the 3 pick, the 4 pick. Because this way, I think it's really unfair that the number 1 pick in the draft has to go to the worst team in football.
Yes.
As evidenced by Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Like if he could have gone to the 4th worst team, I think it would have made things.
And Trevor Lawrence, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Like the guy, your reward for being like the best recruit and the best college, whatever, the best prospect maybe ever is you get to play for a guy who's signing Tim Tebow.
Exactly. It's like,
what?
And like you have to live in Cincinnati? Like, you kidding me? Why? Like, what's the incentive there?
Down.
Okay.
Calm down.
Sorry, I love Cincinnati.
Small market Mark.
Anyway, I think that this would make not only it would add more football at the end of the year in a very fun, exciting way. It would make teams legitimately not want to be the worst team.
Yeah.
Because then they're not going to get the best pick.
I love this idea. That makes a lot of sense. More football is always a great idea. And I think the NFL gets behind that too, because that's why they added a game to the schedule this year. I like this though. Like this is well after the Super Bowl in my mind. Like this is in like
interesting.
April.
Right before
like almost like right before the draft.
Wow, Mark.
This is like everyone's like kind of already forgot about the NFL season, and then you're like, oh, that's right.
Like, oh, damn, the losers tournament is coming up.
Yeah, it's like right after Masters Week, and you're like, oh, yes, that's right.
Yes, we get the losers. Oh, I love that. And you could call it something sort of euphemistic, like the second hope tournament, or something like something that's like not losers because the NFL has to be positive, but it's like it's like calling seniors old people seniors.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, that's my I really
I like that idea. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Number 2 for me, this would also upset a lot of people. But I don't like it. Hockey's not as big in this country as NFL is. So my number 2 is no fights in hockey. That there's a rule put in that's like I don't know, whoever the commissioner, Rob Manfred becomes the commissioner of the NHL. I know Gary Bettman, people don't like him, but Manfred becomes a commissioner of the NHL, and he's like, this is barbaric. This is fighting is, I don't understand how we condone this. Like we literally penalize these guys when they fight. So like, how can we then allow them to also like, how can it be woven into the fabric of the sport, but also when they do it, we put them in the penalty box.
Yep.
This makes no sense. What I'm going to do is institute a rule. If you fight, you're ejected. It's like every other sport. You're ejected. You don't go to the penalty box. You're ejected. No more fighting. Clean it up. Let's clean up the game. Let's focus on scoring goals. Let's focus on growing out our beards and drinking beer out of the Stanley Cup. These are the things we care about in hockey. No longer do I want to see fighting. No more fighting, which would ironically, I think, make a lot of people fight. I think that putting that rule would make all of America and Canada to start fighting everybody. They'd be so angry. There'd be so much more fighting in the crowd. Yeah.
Like, the rule about a goalie, a backup goalie, you can pick anyone from the crowd. They would have to do that for the whole team because the players would fight so much more that they would all just be ejected.
Yeah.
Manfred's like, look. You can cheat, but you can't fight.
Yeah, you could. I liked it. Like Gary Bettman is considered like one of the worst commissioners. We talked about it on the hockey. I know nothing about the guy. I just like every time his face exists.
You have to boo him.
Anywhere, it gets booed. And they already had a bad commissioner. My mind went to like, let's say they get even worse. Let's get Rob Manfred in there.
Oh, it's so good. That's a great
Anyway.
one, Mark. That's like rude, honestly. My number one is a rule that I can't decide if I hate or love, which is why I made it number one, because it would make so many people so mad. And it's that in baseball, instead of extra innings, it just turns into a home run derby.
Whoa.
Because I don't even want that. Because to me, part of what I love about baseball is the war of attrition. Like, if you're going, if it's like a low scoring game, make it go to like 15 innings.
Right.
Make the tension like so much that I can't handle it until somebody finally breaks it. I love that about the sport. I also love home runs. I would hate this. And everybody would hate this, but it would also be like baseball trying to galaxy brain themselves into being like, what do people want? What's the hip young way to make more people watch this? More home runs. Okay, home run derby instead of extra innings.
But it's not a home run derby. You don't pick like one guy to do it. It's like the whole team has to do
the lineup.
You do you just keep going through the lineup over and over. Yeah.
But it's just a meatball hit, and whoever in like 2 rounds hits more home runs.
That's so good. I love that. That's a great idea. You're right though, because I think I've made this observation on the show before that when you're watching baseball and it goes to extra innings, the 10th inning's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's like, oh my god, anything can happen. Whoever wins, it's sudden death, do or die. If you score here, we could walk it off.
Exactly.
Oh my god, 11th inning, you're like, okay, still could walk it off here. Still could. 12th inning, you're like, all right. Would love a walk-off, you guys. Would love for this 13th inning. You're like, my God, get this thing over with. Exactly. But then somehow it gets completely flipped and it comes back around where you wake up and it's the 16th inning. And if you're someone who's been like watching this whole game, it's in the 16th inning, you're like, I want this game to go to 48 innings.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I never want this to end. This is hilarious what I'm witnessing. And so I think because people are already upset about the runner on second situation.
I'm livid about the runner on second.
Yeah, but a home run derby, you can't go wrong with the home run derby. So I like the idea of a home run derby doing something, like meaning something.
Right.
Like
I do too.
Like there's some sort of, maybe they do that instead of the play-in wild card game. The one play, they just line them up and have them do the
There it is. That's a much better idea. There you go.
But I love the idea of just, I love where your brain's at, where you just sit down and you're like, we need more home run derbies. I haven't figured out where we put the home run derbies.
So let's just scratch the extra innings.
But just give me more home run derbies.
Here we go. Great. Just drop it in. These are all just like Molotov cocktails of rules.
It's great. That's what that's what we're doing. We're trolling. My number one is similar to your women's tennis. Add 5 or play 5 sets. You said, is that what it is? 5 sets. My number one is for women's basketball. Lower the hoop to 9 feet.
There it is.
From now on, women's basketball will be played at 9 feet because, like you, I have no idea what the reaction would be. I think initially people will be upset because it does seem a little misogynistic that like, why you don't think women can like get the ball up to 10 foot, but then also I think they would like sit back and kind of like watch what happens next, and like the ratings would explode.
Totally.
Girls would be like cocking it back and dunking on each other, and like people would actually be like going nuts for WNBA games, and they'd be like, okay, this is a weird, I'm in a weird spot. I don't know how to react because like,
I've seen both. I've seen women in the game argue for both keeping it and lowering it. And I, again, have no idea, but everybody knows I'm a bad woman. So like, I really can't even weigh in on this, but
that's your new Twitter bio.
A bad woman.
I'm a bad woman.
A bad woman.
I'm a bad woman.
That's the name of my band too. Bad woman. Anyway, I think these are incredible rules. I'm really proud of us. I've also embarrassingly thought of a lot of these before.
Really?
Yeah, like the mini tournament for the NFL pick.
That's a good one. I actually like that one. I don't think that one's a troll at all. I think that one would be it is weird though how tanking is kind of more accepted in the NFL, because I don't know. Because I guess tanking the NFL isn't so drawn out. It's like you have fewer number of games. In the NBA, it's like, oh my God, we still have like 36 games to watch this team purposely lose. Exactly. In the NFL, every team starts the season, even if you know you're not making the Super Bowl, I feel like every single team starts the season like actually trying, obviously.
Yeah.
and you don't start tanking until it's like halfway through and you're
it's like 7 or game 7 or 8 and you're like,
yeah.
Ugh.
And then at that point it's just a couple more games that you have to
Right.
throw, and it's more palatable than
and
the
fans
NBA.
want you to throw them.
Except
for me, I hate tanking.
But
anyway,
I like your idea though. Did we solve all the sports?
I think we fixed them. I think we ruined them. I think we fixed them by ruining them.
Nice. Now we tint our fingers together like this with our fingertips and say excellent.
And watch the ratings explode. We work for a TV network. It's no coincidence.
What else we got? Is that it?
That's it, man. I think we'll wait till next week to do our silent podcast, or we'll just keep saying that every week and keep the listeners coming back.
Thank you to Luca Garza for joining us.
Yes.
Go check out Luca. I'm going to bid on one of his NFTs. I'm not bidding $41,000. I mean, sorry, Luca, but I'm not.
Do you have to pay in like Ethereum?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I hope not. That isn't
because
Ethereum tanking.
If you have to bid in Bitcoin, you're screwed. Unless you have Bitcoin. I don't know. I haven't.
What's up, guys? Aunt Char here. I use Bitcoin to buy my NFTs. I don't know about you guys. But then again, I am a bad woman.
And then I ride off on my motorcycle like Dennis Rodman.
All right. See you guys Monday. Tuesday. See you guys Tuesday.
Hey pals, thanks for watching the People's Sports Podcast YouTube channel. For more of mine and Mark's very weird rabbit holes, stick around, watch more. You can subscribe, smash that subscribe button. You know you want to. We're going to give you all the weird stuff we possibly can.